It's Christmas time, so we're going to bring you a jolly old elf today.
What? That's such a great jingle.
Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast.
Christmas edition.
Christmas edition. It's December 20. Is that even
It's
true?
20th, I think, today.
20th?
The 20th, yeah.
Justin McRae, Shane Chapman here with you today. Jolly old elf, Mr. Ryan Leslie from Vinyl Guys. I don't know if he's going to appreciate being called a jolly old elf, but
Well, let's see what happens.
but that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk to Ryan from Vinyl Guys. We're going to bring him on the phone. He's not on here yet. We're going to do the call-in kind here. Where you
Q&A.
that kind of thing, right? But before we do, it's Christmas time. What do you got planned? You going somewhere?
I'm not this year. We're going to lay low, I think. My parents live here now, so they're not East Coasters anymore officially. So we don't have to... Yeah, we don't have to fly around.
You're just traveling from one end of the city to the other,
which sometimes can seem like you're literally traveling across the country, but
yeah,
it's all relative. So yeah,
exactly.
No, we're gonna stick close to home. I think. You guys?
We're doing our tour, our Southern Saskatchewan tour.
Nice. The annual Christmas tour
Kicks off on December 24th.
Okay, great.
Ends on December 29th.
Nice. So where are your dates? What are your dates? Where you stopping?
So we're gonna have a Christmas in Regina here with my mom, and then we're going to go down to Willabunch, Saskatchewan, the metropolis of.
Yes, booming.
With my in-laws, and then down to Arcola, the other metropolis.
Man, those are big. Those are like big markets there.
Big markets. You can almost fit the entire towns on a large deck.
It's great.
I'm not kidding you. I graduated. So Arcola is actually the bigger of the two. I came from the bigger town than my wife. But Arcola, there was, like when I was there was 500 people in the town.
Yeah.
When I moved to Regina, I went to university. My first class, Psychology 101, was in an auditorium with 500 people. I was like, my entire town could sit.
How many people were in your graduating class? Your high school graduating
22.
class? Oh, wow.
It was a big class for Arcola.
Mine, when I graduated, my graduating class at the time was the highest in the school's history, and it was 55.
55? That's not a bad size.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we're big city folk here.
Yeah, I guess you could call us that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
So we're going to bring Ryan on here, get him dialed in, learn a little bit about the man, the legend, Ryan Leslie. What about New Year's? Do you ever do anything on New Year's?
Usually, the last couple of years has been pretty quiet. So yeah, nothing again this year, I don't think. At least as of yet. I mean, we're classic waiting until, New Year's Eve afternoon to plan something. So that's probably what we'll do.
Good. We've been slacking big time on New Year's the last few years. We have not made it out to anything. We just don't do it. We just don't do New Year's.
It's tough to get out, man.
Kids.
It's tough. Yeah.
Kids, man.
That's right.
Anyway, Ryan, are you on the phone with us?
I am here.
Oh, that was.
You had me a little bit worried
It
because
wasn't even awkward silence. It was like stressed. It was like a stress-feared feeling because we were going to have to talk about nothing for more than we wanted to.
Yeah, I'm not a tech guy, so if that didn't work, I was out of options at that point. Ryan Leslie from
Vinyl. Hearing what you guys had to say about New Year's.
Yeah, you're like, I got no plans either. Hopefully I can get hooked up here. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. Yeah, we're real good. We pretty much wrapped up everything we needed to wrap up yesterday.
Good.
So in the office and washing the trucks and kind of getting ready for the holidays, I guess.
Are you done after today?
Yeah.
You taking time off? Today's your last day?
Well, last day on site for a few, I guess.
Good.
But I think we're getting the keys to that new shop here in the next week or so.
I saw you post something about that new location there.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of stuff to move. I got a full bay of overstock and trucks and trailers and samples and office and everything to move.
Nice. So just a little bit more space?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's more space, more front end space, fenced compound in the back.
Nice.
So I can kind of, and it's actually a little bit less money overall. So it works out really good.
Triple
and our
win.
lease was up here, and it's a 360 win for sure.
Good. Okay, well, what we're going to do today is we're going to learn about you. So, let's get after it, I guess.
Who is your daddy and what does he do? First question.
So a lot of people that listen to the podcast are going to be familiar with you. They follow you on Instagram under Vinyl Guys, is your Instagram title. So some people are going to be familiar with you. Others are not. So why don't we start with a little bit about yourself, your family, where you're from, what you do, all the good stuff.
Sweet. Well, I mean, originally from North Battleford, Saskatchewan. So for those people who know anything about Saskatchewan, they probably know where North Battleford is. Been in the news once or twice, I'm sure.
Not for good reasons usually.
Yeah. No, typically not for great reasons. So got out of there. Moved around a bit as a kid with the family. Lived in Central America for a couple years.
Really?
Before high school. Yeah,
Cool.
with my dad's in gold mining industry. So Central America is quite prominent with gold mining and different things. So we spent 2 years down there and then decided to come back. When we came back to Saskatchewan, we came to Saskatoon. So I finished high school here in Saskatoon. After high school, I took off and did some traveling over in Europe. Lived in England and Scotland for a couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah, I found my way back to Saskatoon and kind of been here ever since. Started working, slowly got back into construction. Like my family's super strong blue collar, like all my uncles, dads. I have one dad. All my uncles, my dad, my brothers. Yeah, they're all like either a mechanic or carpenter. My dad's a millwright and a welder. My brother's a millwright. My cousins are carpenters, farmers. Like we're just all
in the
always
blood
with our hands. Yeah, so kind of got back into that, and I'd say like 2006, 2007, when the housing market was really taking off here. I was working for another guy doing fences and decks, and then we kind of fell out. So I went to industrial carpentry, and I was doing like bridges and bigger concrete projects and pile caps, and started doing side work, decks and fences. And then before you know it, just got so busy with the decks and fences that kind of snowballed into a full-time gig. And, you know, when you're young and you start your business, you don't know anything about business, but you got all this work and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be so good. I'm going to make so much money. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you need WCB, you need a business license, you need to fuel your truck. And it goes down the line and you're just like, oh boy, this is more than I anticipated.
Yeah, it always looks better when you're naive to it all.
Yeah, and then then you know you have to grind and grind and figure it out and kind of do the business thing. And as we progressed, we used to do like concrete and wood fences, wood decks, all sorts of stuff. And then about 3 or 4 years into the whole gig, I decided to just do the maintenance pre-angle.
Right.
And just stick with vinyl fences. And we did a lot of glue down vinyl, like Duradeck style decks. That brings me to about 2015 when we had a big condo boom here. And there was hundreds and hundreds of units, condos being built. So they all needed vinyl decking and they all needed aluminum railing. So we kind of were heavy into that. And as things have changed and the market's kind of moved away from the condos, we've moved more into the custom composite and PVC decks.
Sure.
Stuff like that. So that's kind of where we're at now, is doing the more custom stuff. And it's just it's a lot better space to be in, right?
Yeah. Are you enjoying it more? Do you like the custom stuff more, or do you prefer the kind of out of the box type projects more?
No, I definitely enjoy the custom stuff. I mean, the production work is always going to be there to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I just find that when it comes to production work, the market's kind of turned us all into a commodity.
Yes.
So it's like, it's real basic, like vinyl decking, how much per square foot? Or, you know, vinyl fencing, how much per square foot or linear foot?
Yeah.
Whereas with the custom stuff, it really allows us to sell what's in between my ears. You know what I mean? We can do this with the material. We can do that with the material. We can add X, Y, and Z. We can do different trim on the deck. Like,
gives you a little bit more of a creative outlet, so to speak, right?
Exactly, right. And then it's custom, and there's less jumping from job to job to job. Like, I don't want to do 500 jobs a year. I'd rather do that 10 or 12 or 15.
Yep.
So I like it better, but there's a lot more that goes into it, right? You got to be maturing into that market, I think. You don't just get up one day as like a 22-year-old carpenter and be like, hey, we're going to do these huge custom decks. Like there's a lot of education that goes into that.
For sure.
Training and learning about the product, right?
Ton of learning to do before you can get there for sure. Yeah. There's a big,
so that's it.
There's a big condo. Actually, I don't know if it's a condo. There's a big building going up in Saskatoon right now, is there not? They started the foundation on it, I think, like a high rise.
Yeah, there's a couple that have been going on River Landing downtown. They've been starting and they've been working on.
So is that a condo? Like, is there an opportunity there for you? Is there balconies and stuff on it, or is it office?
They're probably like the last phase. There was some railing on some decks.
Okay.
And we did look at trying to get some work for the Escala. That's a 7-story they're building on the river and stuff like that. I'm not really. I guess how would I put this? I guess I'm not as competitive as some of the guys that are going after that work anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
Because again, that's where they want you to be a commodity, right? Like that builder, that real estate developer is looking for 3 or 4 bids to meet this specification, and whoever's going to come in closer to the bottom end of the pricing is probably going to get the job.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, that's how it is with those projects. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like I'd rather work with that homeowner one-on-one and say, okay, this is your yard. Your deck has lived its 15 or 20-year-old lifespan. Now it's time to come in here and kind of revamp your space and really check all the boxes for you. Like you need more entertaining space. You want to incorporate a hot tub. You need a kitchen out here. Like really kind of encompass all that design stuff as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. By the way, because you weren't on for the intro, it's Justin and Shane here. I just realized that I didn't tell you who is on the mics today. So Wade's not here. Justin is. So if you're wondering who the other voice is, I'm sure you.
If Wade's not there, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shut it down. Shut it down, guys. That's yeah. I get it. I've always played second fiddle to Wade.
So are you still on the tools a bunch, Ryan? Or have you kind of moved into more of just a management role?
This year I was a lot of management.
Okay. And do you enjoy that, or do you miss being on the tools?
You know what? I like being on the tools in certain circumstances.
When things are going well.
I'll come out and when it's cool, when we're doing the fun stuff, right? Like when we're doing the inlays and the track saws and the design and all that type of stuff and the layout. Just like pounding pipes for a vinyl fence, I'm not really too keen on and stuff like that. So it just depends. Like I would say I'm 80-20.
Okay.
And then when it's slower and we don't have a lot of work, then I'm more on the tools. But I'm more like coaching the guys and showing them some of the techniques and trying to get them to the same level as maybe, I don't want to sound like I'm the high level, but some of my guys don't necessarily know all these tips and tricks and kind of the installation techniques that we're trying to accomplish.
Yep.
That come with delivering the higher end deck. So there's a learning curve there for them too. But I like being in the office, and sales and marketing is kind of my angle at this point.
Do you?
I think that's what really drives my business.
Right.
And do you have a few crews that you run through, Ryan, or like are you rotating between them, or small crews, or what do you? Yeah,
this year we had quite a few. We had 2 fence crews going pretty much full time, and then that just depends on our workload. Like if one crew can handle it consistently, then we'll just keep one. But this year we were swelling up to 2 at some point. And then we have our deck crew, John and his guy. They're more like a production crew, so they'll take care of like the glue down vinyl, the aluminum rail jobs. And then when it comes to the bigger, more expansive stuff, I'll come with them and get another helper, and we'll all kind of work together.
Okay.
And then just depending, like we have some specialty stuff, like we did some soffit and fascia and a little bit of east trough on an apartment building this year for a retrofit. So that kind of just went to a kind of a third party crew.
Gotcha.
That we have that kind of jumps in, jumps out. So it really depends on the workload, but like our perfect scenario is having 2 fence crews and 1 deck and rail crew, then plus myself and kind of the higher end stuff.
Okay. Here's a job interview question for you. What sets you apart from your competition?
what sets us apart from our competition? There's a number of things, I guess. Including,
okay, I'm listening.
Well, good then. On to the next question.
I'm ordering them. Do you want them in order, or do you? No. You know what? We're one of the only companies out there that can do the deck and the fence maintenance free.
Right.
Do it to a high level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we can come in and we can offer you the vinyl fence and a PVC deck with the glass railing. There's companies out there in Saskatoon here that do the deck, or companies that do the fence, but they can't necessarily do both at the same level we can.
Right.
That's one thing. The being part of the VMA, which is the Vinyl Manufacturers Association, which is kind of the professional association for the vinyl fencing, and also being NADRA. So there's not a lot of that going on up here, which kind of sets us apart. And then our showroom, like we have a showroom warehouse, so we can actually have clients come in, look at the samples, get a feel for what we do.
Yep.
I don't think there's very many other companies out there that are at that level.
Right.
That just
Most
helps.
of the deck builders are running out of the back of their truck.
Yeah, that's right. And that just helps with a little bit of trust. They know that you're going to be there for a while. If they have a problem,
Like,
they know how to find
they know where to
find
exactly.
you.
Like if they have to, they can come sit out front, or they know where we're coming every day. And then the other thing too is like having that shop and having that office also sets us up so we take credit cards for payments, which doesn't sound like a big thing, but again, most of these guys run out of the back of their truck.
That's a big thing. Yep.
They buy their material at the hardware store,
so
on and so forth. Right? So we're just that next level. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple other companies out there, but I didn't see anyone from Saskatoon in Kentucky this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
So that, like, just those things, right, where we're always willing to learn from other people, willing to step up and push that envelope,
right,
is big for us. And that's my take on it anyway. I mean, ultimately, I would probably have to ask my consumers that.
Yep.
What sets us apart and why they choose us. But over the past couple of years, we've heard from some of our clients that even though our price point is a little higher, they chose to work with us.
Sure.
And that's something that, like, it just reinforces what we're doing.
Yep. So that guy, you said before you were working with another company building decks and fences, you had a bit of a falling out. Is he still around? Are you now competing against him?
No, he doesn't do the decks and the fences anymore. He's just a businessman.
Looking to dig up some dirt.
We've done a few things. And what's that?
I was looking to dig up some dirt and get a good story out of you there.
No. He's busy doing all sorts of stuff, and he's bought into a couple other construction companies, and he's a businessman. He shuffles paper.
Right. So obviously you're very much maintenance free focused company. Do you have a preference between, I think I know the answers, but a preference between using composite versus, sorry, I'm on the podcast, my brain switched to
really
American.
Does. It really does.
I've just gotten used to saying it. So do you have a preference between composite and PVC products, or do you not mind them both and you'll install whatever the customer wants, or what's your angle on that?
Preferably, I like the PVC better. Just from a workability standpoint, I just find it a little easier to work with.
Yeah.
And the finished product is quite a bit nicer, in my opinion. Now, I know you could go either way. Like, I mean, if you're really hacky at what you do, you can make a top quality product look really bad. And if you're really good at what you do, you can make a mid-grade product look really good.
Yes, that's
so
true.
I mean, it works both ways. The most of the experience we have has been with the PVC, and specifically with Wolf. So that's kind of my go-to when I'm selling a project, just because I'm comfortable with it.
Yep.
I know how it's going to work. I know what to expect from it. But as we do more and more, we're open to different things. We've done a lot of treks this year too.
Yep.
And I always just try to tell the client, like, we're always looking to sell the highest end product, because even just the offering of the fasteners and what we can do with it, like, I guess some of those entry level products or some of those big box store brands that are just like specifically to them that are imported, they don't have the line of fasteners,
right?
And they don't have all those supplementary products that make the deck look good as it could.
Yeah.
So we always just try and sell the best for what they want, you know.
Yeah.
sometimes it comes to budget. I'm not a huge fan of Fiberon, and it's not even that it's workability. It's just, I think it smells funny. I honestly I tell everybody that I don't, man. It smells like rotten salmon.
It's so funny to hear that.
You heard it here first.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Like it just has that real weird off smell.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like,
So a customer comes to you and you're like, man, we really love the variegation in the Vibron, like the Good Life Beach House. We'd really like to put that down. You're like, no, it stinks. What do you mean? Like it's a crappy board? No, it smells bad, so I don't want to put it down for you.
yeah, pretty much. Like, I guess like it's all how you present it, right? I'd be like, well, there's lots of offerings out there. Like, let's have a look and tell me why you like this color so much,
right?
And then we'll see where we're at.
It's funny because I used to pick up on that all the time too. When I was building, I was like, every board has its own smell, and people would be like, "What are you talking about?" And it's like,
true.
cut one, and you'll know what I'm talking about. They all smell different.
I think that'd be something that we should set up in the spring at your shop, is we can come and do like a blind smell test.
Totally.
Do you remember which brand smell, is this? And then cut exactly. Because I could probably pick out the wolf too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember?
The wolf is very distinct.
Do you remember Home Improvement? It's like the Tool Time show on Home Improvement.
Oh yeah.
Did you used to watch that, Ryan?
With Al Borland.
Yeah, such a classic show.
Yeah. Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Do you remember there was the episode on Tool Time that they were Tim was loading up boards like wood, and he was going to put them in front of Al's blindfolded eyes with his nose, and he was supposed to smell them and determine what species of wood it was. Do you remember this episode? Am I the only one? It was so good.
I think we'll go to YouTube after this.
So he smells a few and he gets them ready, whatever, and then Tim takes off his dirty sock and puts it on there, and he's like, oh, this one's got a fungus of some sort. But that always reminds me.
That's Fiberon. That's what Ryan's saying is Fiberon is stinky socks.
It always makes me think of that episode when we talk about how boards smell. But it's so true. It was funny.
I'm going to get a bunch of hate mail right away from Fiberon.
Yeah, they're like, we'll be taking your rebates back. Thank you very much. I used, like, when we first started using TimberTech, like a few years ago, my first TimberTech deck, I cut it and I was like, boy, this stuff smells good. It kind of smells like nutty and almost has like a sweetness to it when you cut it. It's so weird. And I would tell people this, they're like, you're weird, man. Like, what do you mean the board smells sweet? I was like, trust me.
Actually, it is one of the better smelling boards.
It is. And the first time I went down to the TimberTech plant, I walked into the plant, the whole plant smells like that. I was like, this is the smell. It's like whatever they're using. I don't know what they're using in it that's smells so good, but
wow. We've spoke about this topic more than anything else so far.
More than we needed to. Yep. So outside of, like, you guys have your shop location, obviously, that people will see a little bit. People driving by might see it. You've got your trucks done up. What other kinds of marketing are you finding work for you locally in Saskatoon?
What works for us really well is the lawn sign.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But over the past few years, the city is, like, the legislation, like the bylaw officers have gotten really hardcore on the signs. Like, you can't leave signs anywhere unless it's in the client's yard while you're working on their property.
Right.
So, like last year, for example, I went and we did a deal in February for about 10 yards of fence. And I put signs in their yard as soon as I could. I think it was like March 1st, once the ground was just starting to soften up a little. And they took them all down. Like, I'm like, well, hey, it's under contract. As far as I'm concerned, I'm working on that property right now.
Yeah.
They said, no, you physically have to be at the property. So that's kind of a pain in the rear end. And then we've done a lot of home shows. Home shows have been really good for us in the past. But I find that they're getting to be more and more work for less and less payoff.
They're a ton of work, hey?
Yeah, like to set up and take down. And now we have two here in the city. So we have the one that's done by the Home Builders Association.
Yep.
And then we have the one that's done by the Garden Association. And they're typically back-to-back weekends.
Right.
So you're there for 2 weeks straight, like set up, work the show, take the show down, basically do a U-ball in the parking lot and go set up again.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they'd cooperate a little bit so that you could leave your stuff there all week and book the same booth.
Yeah,
Right?
but it's a completely different setup, right? Like the layout and everything, they just, no, you got to be out on this day, and then it's 2 days to clean up, and then you're back in, and they're expensive, and they cost, and then you're how many deals do you really get, right? Like you get 250 people that you're quoting on.
Yeah.
Out of that 250, maybe 25 are serious. You might get 3 jobs.
Right.
So is that worth my effort?
And they may have found you anyway. Like they may have found you through other means if they were looking hard enough. Yeah, we've always
exactly.
found... Go ahead.
Okay. What I was going to say was, like, for us, it's good is we're on the top of Google.
Yeah.
So like we make the top 3 under Vinyl Fencing Saskatoon, Vinyl Deck Saskatoon, Saskatoon Deck Builder. Like we're consistently in the top, in the snack pack. And
you would have to think Google, that's where most people are starting, right? If they need a vinyl fence or a deck, they're probably going to Google and being like Saskatoon vinyl fence, PVC fence, whatever.
Right.
It's probably what they're doing first, or they're asking friends and family who got one done or something. So, yeah.
So, and then we're working a lot. I've been working with a couple marketers and different guys that have some programs out of the States. A guy named Jim Yeti, and he's got some funnels and some different kind of Facebook ad sets and different things that he's working.
Okay.
And that seems to be starting to work for us too. So next year we probably most likely won't even do the home shows, and the amount of time and the amount of money that I could save on that, I'll pour into Facebook.
Right.
And that just kind of changed the way we do it, like from the digital end of things. Like we've always been kind of farther ahead than most in our market with that. We never started my business in 2009, never took a Facebook or a phone book ad, whereas some of these guys are like, oh, you got to be in the phone book, got to be in the newspaper. It's like, no, man.
I'm sure there are people
the 21st century.
Yeah. I'm sure people don't even know what a phone book is now. So
you want to know what the worst part is about having a physical location? Those guys that still walk in and try to sell you ads in Yellow Pages or the Better Business Bureau,
the community flyers, or
they can find you too easy, and they just walk in.
We can do so much for that price, and same with radio. We did some radio auction last year, and I'm not happy with what the results we got. So this year, I think we're just going to triple down on our digital.
Radio's expensive,
and really like work with the Facebook and work with the Google AdWords and do some geo targeting and some search term retargeting and just kind of step up that end of things.
Yeah,
I think
that's really what pays off, right?
Yeah, I think especially with the expensive like radio ads and even home shows and things like that, from a marketing perspective, you could take that money, like that amount of money could get you quite far with pushing Facebook ads and things like that. So, and like you said, that's what the majority of people are spending their time and finding their ads. Yeah, exactly.
Funny story. When we first opened the store, it must have been probably the first year, maybe second year. It was at our old location anyway. We had a guy come in selling us Yellow Page ads, trying to sell us Yellow Page ads. As he did every 3 months or so, he'd make a stop in and try to sell us. And we always kind of said, no, we're not, I don't think we're interested in doing that. He's like, wow, you're crazy not to. It might seem crazy you might not want to be in the physical phone book, but I'll tell you what, when you do an ad with the Yellow Pages, we automatically create a landing page on our, whatever, My Sask 411 or whatever it is. You get a landing page there, and so you can send people to that page where they can find out about a little bit more about you and then go to your website. And we're like, well, why wouldn't we just want them to go to our website first instead of finding you? And he's like, well, because our search targeting is really good, and we find that if people have our landing page, it goes higher in the search rankings than anything when they're searching for things. He's like, I'll show you a perfect example. Watch this. What do you think people search for when they want a deck? And we're like, well, I don't know, like Regina decks or Regina deck building materials or something like that. He's like, I'll show you right now what the value is in this. And he punches it in. Number 1 result, the Ultimate Deck Shop. And he's like, oh, you guys are up there already. We're like, yeah. So what's the point in trying to get yours to go up above? And then he's like, yeah, but look who's right behind your tail. It's this other company, Fresh Decks. What do you know about them? And it's like, well, that's also us. That's my other company. So I think
the owner's a real good looking guy. That's all I know.
I was like, I think we're doing okay. Thanks. We don't need your search marketing. Anyway.
Yeah, it's SEO is a funny game, because everybody wants to sell you SEO, and it's not actually. I don't believe it's that hard to do.
No, that's the thing. I don't feel like we've ever really tried to be up top. Like it doesn't take much effort to in a niche, right? I'm sure if you were trying to stand out as a car dealership or something else, it might be a little bit tougher. But when you're one of only a handful of companies in a town that does what you're doing, you have a pretty good shot of being on the first page. So
yeah, for sure. And it just takes being active too, like on social and stuff. And we'll probably end up editing our website here this year in the winter,
right?
Just to kind of reduce it, because I don't think that people are really all that keen on that 5-page website design anymore, where they go there and nobody wants to read about my company and read about all the services and read about all that stuff. They want social proof. They want to just go to Facebook and go to Instagram and see what we're doing and let me educate you. And then you get a natural feel that we actually know what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Kind of the whole system.
It's kind of funny because years ago, people would, like, you had to have a website. It was like, you have to have a website. Like, you can't not have a website, and you want to track your data and your results off that website. You want people on your website for a long time. You want to make sure they're clicking through all the pages and spending time and yada, yada, yada. And now it's like website is almost getting to the point where it's arguably unnecessary, maybe again, in some cases, right? Sometimes you're just better off to have your home pages on your social accounts. And
I think it's just,
if somebody's on your website for 10 minutes, it's like, well, are they having trouble finding something?
Yeah, exactly.
Like now you're kind of like
navigating through the pages,
right?
People don't want to be there that long. Yeah, give them what they need so they can move on with their lives.
It all just needs to go back to MySpace. Yeah. Just need to have a MySpace page. Yeah, scroll down, profile pic. Yeah, website link.
You should relaunch that. I think it's still out there. Actually.
Oh man.
So just relaunch it as Your Space instead of MySpace.
Yeah. Totally.
Yourspace.com. I think it's just like getting the landing page is the next thing, right? Where, like you say, they're going to go on Instagram or Facebook. They're going to get the information they need. They know what they want to do. Okay, now they want a quote.
Yeah.
Just go to the website. All it is a drop down menu. It's like, are you interested in the deck or a fence? And what's your email?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. And then when they click that, then just like, tradespeople are the only people not doing it right now when it comes to email marketing, to the degree that some of these other people are like, cool, you don't want to give your email out to anybody this day and age unless you want 10,000 emails in the next 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So get your email and then just send it to them. Be like, oh, hey, you're interested in the deck? Hey, here's a little survey for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And then we'll be in touch. And then they can get back to you and they can tell you a little more. And then depending on what they tell you, you can feed them another little video sales letter or whatever, right? So they tell you they're interested in a PVC deck with aluminum and glass railing, and you can give them that angle. If they tell you they want a glue down vinyl deck, then you can give them that angle, right? And just kind of custom tailor it to them, get a little interaction going.
Yep.
Get that dialogue back and forth. And then by the time you go to their house, they already know you. They already trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not just like, they call you off the internet, you show up at their house 20 minutes later with a pen and a paper, and you're going to be like, oh, I'll get you a price in half a day.
Right.
And then they never call you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you consider that part of your quoting process then?
Just going over to their house?
Well, just like from the yeah, exactly. No, from the initial connection with them, with the survey and things like that. Like what's your formula? Like what's your actual quoting process?
Well, our process right now, obviously we're trying to get to what I was just discussing with the landing page and the video sales letters and that.
Okay.
Like that's something that I'm going to be working on here in the winter. But right now, like somebody goes, they either send us a request for a quote or they give us a call. However, they get in touch with us somehow, and then we get back to them and kind of screen them over the phone and figure out what they're really looking for, if they're going to be a good fit for what we offer. We talk about some ballpark pricing, and then if they're comfortable with all that, then we move them to the in-home consultation.
Right, because you can actually get a feel of how serious they actually are, right?
Yeah, and some people, they just want a rough idea because they might build the deck in the next 2 years.
Yep.
Right. So they just want to know, is this deck going to cost me 15 or is this going to cost me 25? I'm pretty good with the numbers as far as like you give me a few key pieces of information like access, size, what material you're looking for, kind of just those rough things, I can kind of get you in the ballpark.
Right.
If they're comfortable with the ballpark, and then we'll move them to the consultation, and we charge money for the consultation. So to actually like physically go to their house, see the project, present them a design, that costs money.
Yeah, it's all time, and time is money, right? So you want to make sure that you're not wasting a bunch of time trying to earn somebody's business that you really never had a shot at in the first place because they weren't serious, or they're not your customer. Not everybody's your customer, right? Especially when you're the guy who's just you provide a little bit better service at a little bit more of a premium price. Well, that means you've kind of removed some of the market because some people shop solely on price, but you really don't want to work with those people anyway because it's just trouble, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. I'm sure there is a contractor out there who fits with them.
There's plenty of them,
and
yeah.
and they line up.
Yeah,
but we're not there now. We used to be. Like, everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah,
but we're happy to not be there because it's just like I think my wife was telling me she owns a business. She owns a salon downtown in Saskatoon called Lux Beauty Company, and she was saying that she read a study where there's approximately 8% of the market want the top end offering. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to go to get that Cadillac, or they're going to go to buy that Porsche.
Yep.
So why not? If that's where you're at and that's what you resonate with, and those are the people you work with, then why not sell that service to them and be that, right? Somebody has to fill that void in the market. So might as well be me.
Yeah. So you've started a business and seem to be doing quite well. What would we see these questions all the time on Instagram specifically, not necessarily to us, but you see them in other threads to Jason Russell or whoever, people that are like thinking about leaving their job and starting their own company, or maybe they have a contracting business, but they want to start to specialize or something. What would be your advice for somebody who's kind of starting up their own business or is looking to kind of change the type of work they do? Is there some guidance you can give somebody, like what the most important things are to pay attention to when you're starting your business?
Maybe what I would say is like, just be sure and start to do your research and know who you're going to go after. Like I was just saying about the targeting and that, like, figure out who your target audience is. Like, you can't be everything for everybody. So if you're just going to be that deck builder who does new home production work for builders, and you're just going to do those 12 by 12 wooden decks, but you're going to be the man in your city who does those, then figure that out and go after those people.
Yeah.
Figure out what's going to be profitable for you and what you're going to like doing, and just continually go after the same thing. The worst, in my opinion, is when you see guys who are, grabbing at everything. Like, one day I'm doing a landing, next day I'm doing an interior rail, next day I'm doing drywall, next day I'm doing stairs at somebody's house. Like, it just...
horribly inefficient way to work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to learn everything all the time. You're never really awesome at one or two things. You're constantly retraining your crew because, let's be honest, guys forget things when they don't do them every day.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have all the tools you need. You're always buying tools, or you don't have the specialty tools. And then fasteners and techniques are always changing, and it makes it hard to sell everything. Like, it's just pick one thing you're really comfortable with, that you're really happy doing, and know who your market is and go after it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good advice. How do you...
And train too.
Yeah.
Like, learn, always be learning. Like, take courses, take training, read books about business, read books about marketing. Like, it's winter time. Guys aren't building a lot of decks, but the guys who are serious about their construction businesses outside are learning. They're reading books, they're taking courses. Like, you have to do something every day to move the needle.
Do you have some books or resources or podcasts that you like that help with that kind of thing that you found to be valuable?
Yeah, I do a lot of reading. We do podcast wise. I like Andy Frisella's podcast quite a bit. I'm a huge Grant Cardone fan.
Yep.
10X.
You've been to his show, right? You went to him live in Florida, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, we went last February.
Yep.
He does a big show every February. We're going again this year. I'm not as excited as I was last year.
How come? Just because you know what it's about now? Or?
You know what? It's getting to be a big pitch fest.
Right.
Where like every single one of his guests pitched a course that you could buy at a discounted rate. It's a show special. You're never going to get this deal again.
Yeah.
You know, like the fake internet guru, the business guru online is crazy right now. There's so many guys who have never built a business, but they're telling you how to build a business.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
I make like, $30,000 a week when I start my own business.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
Well, or they never made any money, but they act like they made a ton of money and they're super successful selling you courses on how to do business. And it wasn't until they started selling those courses that they actually got successful.
Right.
You know, so those guys are super heavy in and around that show, but like we didn't have to buy any of the courses, still got some value out of it.
Right.
His books are good. I like Tim Grover's Relentless. I really like that book. Yeah, just lots of stuff like that. Anything you can get your hands on. Different things are going to resonate with different people, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But you're gonna get just that one. You might read a book and just get one or two paragraphs out of it that completely change your thinking. That can take you to the next level.
Are you a Gary Vaynerchuk fan? I think we've talked about this before. I think we've talked about this before. Was it you that kind of done with Gary a little bit? Was that you or is that somebody else I was talking to?
It might have been Brendan. It might have been the young guy that was in the office here last year.
Okay.
'Cause I know he was a big Gary Vee fan. I like Gary because he's pretty real.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you see him in his office, you see him wheeling and dealing and doing his garage sales and stuff like that. But there comes a point where you can't digest any more content. Like you can only listen to so many motivation YouTube videos and before you actually have to get off your own butt and do the work.
Yeah, and if you listen to Gary Vee for an hour, you've heard everything he has to say. He says the same thing all the time, right? But people just don't act, so he just keeps saying it. I'd love to go see him in person someday. I'm not sure when or how to make that happen, but like that's one guy I would love to go see. I've read or listened to through Audible the 10X book from Grant Cardone, and I wasn't as big of a fan of him. I don't know why. I just felt it a little bit more blowhardy, I guess. I didn't resonate with him as much as I do with listening to Gary Vee, but those people in general that can kind of motivate you they're good. They're important to kind of get you the fire lit under you some days. So another one.
Yeah. And you know, like, go ahead.
Another one that I didn't ever think that I would like or follow is Tony Robbins. And I haven't done a bunch of stuff with him, but he has a Netflix special on right now, or it's been out there for a bit. And I decided to watch it one day because I had seen everything else on Netflix and that was the only one I hadn't watched yet. And so I was like, well, I'll turn this on. And it was actually super interesting and powerful. So if
I'm not your guru.
What's that? Sorry? Yes.
I'm not your guru. Yep. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretty powerful stuff to watch. And he was actually in Toronto recently and I was pretty close to going with a couple Instagram guys, Kevin from NFDI and was going, he's like, you should come out here. And it was kind of all last minute and I ended up not making it. But I think if I had the opportunity to go again, I think one of his live events would be a pretty powerful thing to be a part of. But
yeah, my wife went when he was in Calgary or Edmonton.
Okay. And
recently. Yeah. And she loved it. She said it was awesome. And Rachel Hollis, she's big on Rachel Hollis right now too.
Yeah.
Which is, she's in that space. And Ed Milet, like there's so many of them. Like you got to find the one that works for you. And I mean, at the end of the day, like I think it all comes down to that self-development stuff.
For sure.
Like I can actually physically look at like my last 2 or 3 years of business and 2 or 3 years of my personal life and kind of just take like a big look at it. And if I really look at it, I can see that reading those books and kind of getting interested in the self-development space has helped and continues to help.
Yeah,
with all assets.
Yeah.
So it's not all missed, but definitely it can get to be a bit much. At some point, you got to put the book down and go do something.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in just getting motivated and not actually executing on anything. It's a good feeling to get motivated and listening, but
yeah, a group of motivated idiots is not very good sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You got to get some knowledge behind it too.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing with those events, especially the Tony Robbins ones, from people that I have talk to that have been to them is like when you're there, the energy and you just want to leave that thing taking over the world. But the problem is that a week later, you don't anymore. It's like, the buzz is over, the high is done, and back to work, right?
Yeah, that's the one cool thing with the Cardone thing is he has an official recording.
Right.
So Christy and I can actually watch. We were there live, but we can watch it at home every once in a while, or different people's presentations to get fired up.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. So what about guys that are more specific to our industry? And obviously I'm talking about Instagram a bit. And then there's a few guys that always get mentioned in these, but who are the accounts that you like to follow to get kind of motivation or inspiration or learn from?
As far as like specifically the deck end of things, I like, as far as like a design end of things, I really like what Windex's doing up there in Winnipeg. Yeah. Super, super cool ideas. They're super awesome products, and those guys are just sweet guys. Sean from Premier is a beauty too, and I'm interested in some of his stuff. He kind of hits home because he just wants to make it real, right? Like it's not always necessarily about deck. Yeah. And then obviously Mark from Infinite and Jason there from Dr. Deck. Like those are kind of the top ones. I probably got like 200, 250 deck companies on my Instagram at least. So your timeline's just flooded all the time with different things. But I mean, it's a great resource, right? Like pushing the envelope idea wise. And then I think it's going to get to a point where everybody's kind of on the same level. They have their own design style, but they are using a lot of the same technique. Yeah. And then there's going to be those breakouts that are kind of behind the scenes and they're not posting everything. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, check this out. This is a game changer, different things, right? Like, did you see what Jeff Mack Designs did with the wireless table?
I didn't.
So he put like a wireless charging station. Oh yeah. He built a boardroom table, like a live edge slab epoxy table for a boardroom. And then he put a bunch of charging stations on it. So when these guys and gals sit down to do a meeting, they can put their phone down and it can charge.
That's sweet. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. So like there's going to be some crossover. There's going to be some cool stuff going on there where people are going to start pulling ideas from different niches and bring it into the deck world and vice versa. Yeah. And that's what I'm excited for. Like lately I've been looking at a lot of welding and fabrication accounts. Yeah. And just kind of seeing what guys are doing different artistically, like with metal, and how we can incorporate custom metal work in some of our deck designs and different things. Right. Yeah. That'd be cool. So, yeah. Like just kind of bringing some crossover stuff in. Yep. And then as far as like just other ones, like obviously Jeff Mack Designs. And have you guys seen point-to-point structures? Point-to-point structures? No. Yeah, they're beauties. They're a framing crew out of Central Alberta. Okay. And then they're just hilarious. They got like 14 to 15,000 followers. And, they're just like typical framers, having a good time, having a laugh, building a bunch of like condos and big units. Yeah. Yeah, they're good. Check them out. Sweet. I definitely will. Now it's December 20th, we said. Is that right? Yes. We're 5 days away from Christmas. We are a week and a half away from the new year. Do you do the whole resolutions thing personally and professionally? Like, do you make some kind of plans and goals for the next year? And if so, what are they? Both for yourself personally and for your business? Yeah, I mean, self-evaluation, right, is always top of mind this time of year because people are always doing the resolutions. Yeah. I find, we write them down and then don't look at them again. So for me, it's just constantly monitoring and checking. Like we had a pretty good year this year, overall volume and overall margin wise. Yep. So set the bar pretty high. If I can repeat and do a little bit of an increase margin and a little bit of an increase in volume, I'd be happy with that. What else? I'd like to get a delivery guy this year. That's one thing that took way too much of my time last year, is driving around delivering materials and picking things up. Yeah, because you don't make money doing that, right? That's just lost time. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I mean, my time is definitely better spent selling a job than delivering a job. For sure, yeah. So if I can sell two more and have someone else deliver them, perfect.
There's some of those services out there, right? I've never used one, but like that, what are they called? There's one called like the Toolbox, and some other ones where it's like where you just call them and they pick up and deliver whatever you want for a fixed fee, I think it is, or something. I'm not sure how much stuff they can take. Like, I don't think they could deliver like 20-foot deck boards or something. I could be wrong. Maybe they can. But I think they're kind of more like, I'm out of a box of nails, or I need a couple tubes of caulking or something. Yeah. But that service is out there.
General fasteners and construction fasteners do that around here too.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Where if you call in their order, they'll bring it out to your site.
Right.
And more for framers, I guess, like lots of nails and adhesives and stuff like that. But I mean, it work other way. That's the nice thing I like to work with you guys with our deck packages is I can order the lumber, the decking, the tape, the fasteners, like the whole thing.
Yeah, everything you need.
And it just shows up on site, and then the guys just go, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's kind of a big thing for us, because before it was like, okay, we're going to get the lumber from here, we're going to get the decking from over here, and then we got to order the fasteners from whoever, and it was just this way. It's just one call, one order. It's there, ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, there's that. We're moving into our new shop, so I'd like to get that set up and get rocking. Kind of get where we need to be on that end of things. Personally, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing at the house and kind of going along. We might be taking a vacation to Vietnam in March.
Nice.
Me and the wife and the little one. So that'll be interesting.
Why there? Is there something, you have a connection there? Or?
My brother-in-law is getting married to a Vietnamese girl.
Oh, okay, cool. You're quite well traveled. I didn't know this about you.
Yeah, I've been a few places.
Lived in a few places and traveled.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather be like Mexico or somewhere in Central America, but I mean, Vietnam sounds cool for a few days anyway.
Yeah.
I told my wife she has to, we'll go, but she has to eat some super exotic food. She's
no playing it safe. Eh?
She doesn't like to try new things, or what?
Well, I wouldn't say she doesn't like trying new things. This is how far do you want to push it? I mean, Southeast Asia gets pretty wild down there.
Yeah, you can get a little out of your comfort zone with food there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. And then I'll take more of a role in B&I too. I do B&I, business networking.
Okay.
So I've been doing that every Tuesday since March or April.
Nice.
So just kind of continue on that and do what we do.
Good. Well, that's all I got for you today, man. We're pushing on an hour here, so I don't want to take your whole day. I know you got stuff to finish up around the shop there before Christmas. So unless do you have any other questions for us or anything you wanted to chat about today that we hadn't got to?
No, I just want to say thanks for giving me the platform to come on and chit chat with you guys. Thank you very much.
You bet, man. Anytime.
And everybody can catch us at vinyl_guys on Instagram.
Yep.
And then you can, shameless plug, like I said, for my wife, Lux Beauty Company.
Yeah. Sweet. Perfect. Okay, man. Well, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and enjoy some time off and some, eat more food than you probably should, and all that stuff that Christmas is all about.
Wonderful.
So
Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you as well, Ryan. Thanks for joining us.
Man. Have a good one.
Take it easy. Everybody, we're going to be recording again. We're not going to miss a beat over Christmas. Justin won't be. Justin has decided to move on he had an opportunity with another job that he's going to move to. So I would have to think this is probably your last podcast.
Could be my last one.
We're not going to stroll in here some Saturday and be like, I'm ready, boys.
At least for a little while, but we'll see.
So with that, everybody have a great Christmas. We'll talk to you again soon.